taking you to the next question, I mean, how can we really, as banks, really solve these kind of things and move to the next level of maturity in conversational AI and try to get customer engagement better and better by developing these kind of services, from your point of view?
Yeah, I think look, banking is in some ways bank A and bank B. There is very little difference between the two of them. The major difference that will happen will be in personalization. So I get a lot of unsolicited messages at the wrong time, which I may not be interested in. I'll give you an example, right? At last week at 11 o'clock, I was in the middle of a customer conversation and my relationship manager is calling me, sir, why don't you upgrade your account to a wealth account? Now, that's probably the worst time, targeting in the middle of the week, a manual call from a human at, let's say, 11 a.m. in the morning, right? When it's a peak time of the day. Instead, if they know my usage pattern, if I'm interacting with them at 10 o'clock in the night, I know a bank employee cannot be present at 10 o'clock in the night, and that's fine. But at that time, if I even get an automated call, let's say from a voice bot, that tells me about that wealth account, I will be interested. I was definitely interested in that wealth account because later she sent me the brochure on WhatsApp, and I found it very interesting. But the time at which they targeted me was a really bad time. So I immediately dropped off. I discarded the idea. Over the weekend, when I got the brochure once again, I pinged her and said, why don't you WhatsApp me? I could spend time to look at that. So I think the differentiation will happen in personalization. Any technology which is being developed, at the end of the day, it should solve the customer problem. A part of customer problem is not just the utility aspect, but the time at which the utility is delivered. So if we can crack that, right, finding out which customer is most suited for what product, or vice versa, which product is suited for what customer, and what's the optimal time to deliver them, what's the optimal channel to deliver them, right? Like, simple example, I don't open an Instagram page of my bank, but I am very active on, like I very actively use WhatsApp bot to check current account balance. So they should probably target me on WhatsApp. So if we combine the conversational AI with a platform which captures all the usage data, all the interaction data of the customer. Typically, it's called as a CDP, Customer Data Platform. If we combine all of that, then the best kind of personalized experience can be driven, can be provided to the customer. And I think that will be the biggest differentiator. It will help the bank go a class apart from other banks.
Very good answer. Thank you so much. Khaled, what do you think about this point?
Well, I think that engaging the customer voice with our back office, our internal department, is the most important now. We have to lean our process before going to digital and and have a product or service for our customers without being referred to their needs. So customer voice is very important. We have to take a feedback from each and every transaction or inquiry done through all the banking touch point and translate it to our background or to our product manager, for example, and to the IT development to have a quick or a right applications fitting their actual need. I think that most of the model now working on collecting some surveys or customer voice based on 2 or every 3 months, just asking how you find our service in the branch, very generic question without details. And that's it, getting the NPS for them or the satisfaction level. And actually, this is now it's not the case. We have to adjust our models to get feedback instantly from after each transaction done with the customer. Even with a simple question and drop down comment box, for example, if you have an inquiry or complaint, just drop it now and we will work about it. Organization or bankings that are working on those models, they have an updated information about the customer's needs and can continually develop their service or their digital platform based on our customers' needs.
Thank you so much. So I think, Walid, in Saudi Arabia especially, I think we have the challenge of having different dialects. So in Western region, it's different from the Eastern region, it's different from the Riyadh or the central region. So, and we have this white language, which we call اللغة البيضاء. So, do you think that these kind of challenges can be handled using conversational AI, or this will take time because this is not easy to handle from the, let's say, the AI itself?
This is a very good, actually, question and point to raise here. I think the issue here, we have to think about conversational AI supporting the Arabic language first.
Exactly.
And then moving, to the different dialects and accents. As you mentioned, we have a lot of different dialects, accents, in different regions of Saudi Arabia. But my concern here, as I said, when you want to engage your customers, you want to get feedback. And this feedback is gathered and analyzed, through multiple different stages. So now if the chatbot or the conversational AI like agent can't really understand, what are the emotions behind, this question, or what is the customer is actually asking for? Is this word, the meaning of this word is actually, similar to the meaning the chatbot has? But I think this problem can be solved or overcome by retraining the model of or the chatbot itself. So it might take years, but I think there is another issue as well. Like as we mentioned before, the segments of the customers is quite broad.
Yeah.
You have different generations, different expectations, different product needs, etc. But from what I have seen so far, I think we are still facing an issue with understanding, the sentiment behind, the customer's needs, what dialect or accent they actually, they are speaking. I mean, with the Arabic language itself, of course, and then moving to, even a deeper issue here. That's why I was like, I think in the banking industry, I would like, first, when we talk about conversational AI, to see this this being enabler for completing certain tasks rather than like logging into the app. I want to buy a bill while while I'm talking to the chatbot or the agent. And then there is another one as well, which is I think you can add more on that, Aman. Taking the conversation from one platform to another, one channel to another. Like if you're on WhatsApp, you can take it to Facebook and vice versa, or Instagram, for instance. This is actually going to make the engagement even more
simpler and
fruitful.
more
Yes,
convenient
exactly.
to the customer. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, on that point, in fact, there are a couple of good use cases. So let's say if a customer is trying to purchase a loan or some journey on website, and if they drop off in between for whatever reasons, because there was some complicated field in the form which they could not answer, basis their contact details, which are already captured, you can push them a message on WhatsApp or any other channel and say, ki, hi, Aman, looks like you could not complete the purchase. Would you be interested now? Okay. Or, I mean, they could drop off for multiple reasons. One reason could be they were stuck. Another reason could be they got a call from their boss and they gave them some task. So again, that's where personalization comes. Over the weekend, you push them a message and help them complete the journey when they are free from their usual activities, the important activities.
Sure.
So definitely a good leverage of using multiple channels. So one is Facebook versus WhatsApp versus Instagram. Second is net banking versus and WhatsApp combined, mobile banking and WhatsApp combined, those kind of things.
True. I think in summary, as what we have been talking about now, it seems that technologies are helping us a lot to move forward. We have to consider the different generations. We have almost now 5 generations being served by banks. So this is not only a simple challenge like when it was for 1 or 2 generations. Now we have the generations who are digital native, or not even digital first, but native. They don't speak other languages. We only speak digital language. So in addition to that, the different dialects in the, not only Saudi, if we generalize in that, the Arabic region, or even internationally. So this adds some extra challenges to the conversational AI to be able to understand the customer, especially the emotions, the sentiments, and be able to engage the customer in a right way. in addition to what we have mentioned recently about moving between different, let's say, channels, especially the social media, where customers, majority of the time, they are spending their time there. So these challenges, along with the help of technology and expertise like our panelists here, I think by time we should be able to get better conversational AI for banking industry and serving customers in a better way and with more engagement. I just have maybe 5 minutes to take questions. If anyone has a question, please. The mic, please. Yeah, just a second, please.
So, talking about Gen Z and the user experience.
Next.
Hello, sorry.
Yeah, please.
So, as
Hi, dear panelists. My question is, did any of you have an experience with internal communication automation among enterprise using chatbots? If so, which channels did you use and what use case was that? Thank you.
I don't know if we have heard the question properly. Aman, have you got the question?
Sorry, I could not hear the question properly.
Yeah, can you please repeat the question?
Did any of you have an experience with internal communication automation or internal service automation using chatbots within the enterprise?
Internal communication, not external with the customer. You mean that within the same organization?
Within the same organization, inside.
So not about front end where you talk to external customers, about talking to, let's say, employees within the organization or the staff. Do you have any experience on that, Aman or Khalid?
Internal chatbots, you're saying?
Internal chatbot, yeah.
Yeah. So we work with a lot of companies. So in banking, I'll tell you some use cases. One of the leading banks with whom we work, they have 900 field agents for commercial banking, which means they serve large enterprise clients, right? billion-dollar clients with their banking needs. Now, often these customers ask for some sort of custom solution. And these field agents, if they are not able to assist, let's say, the CFO of the customer, they will call their product team and ask what can be done. So again, much of these queries are routine, and instead of product teams spending time on explaining the field agent how to assist the customer, these can be automated using a bot. So we deployed the chatbot for the customer. So this is one use case. Commercial banking, government banking, retail banking, privilege banking, right? All of these are segments where banks typically have different set of field agents where these solutions can be deployed. Another use case is around call center agents. So one of the customers with whom we work, they had a problem of 100% turnaround, 100% churn in the call center team within 6 months of time. So they are always training their call center agents. We gave them a bot using which, in which they uploaded like 2,000 FAQs, all the standard queries. So now they have to spend much lesser amount of effort in training their agents because they can easily search through queries in the bot if they are not able to assist the customer. So these kind of use cases are pretty common. I mean, look, chatbot and AI, these are technologies. They can be applied to solve multiple types of problems.
Which channel did they use? The last one?
Sorry, which?
Which channel? Like, was that on Telegram or Facebook or WhatsApp?
It's a chatbot on their own internal employee-facing mobile app. So they have an app called Universe on the Move, right? It's an employee-facing employee help desk app. In fact, to add to that, there is an HR chatbot internally. So the customer I'm talking about is a leading bank in India. They have 100,000 employees. So they have an HR help desk for apply for leave, apply for muster, attendance approval, right? All of these things. So they have an HR help desk. So within their internal employee-facing app, which is exposed to all the 100,000 employees, they have added the bot. Depending on the, I would say, employee ID of the user, which is the employee, they will open the relevant bot. So if I'm a commercial banking agent, if I trigger the bot, I will get the commercial banking queries and interface. If I'm a retail banking agent, I will get that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Second question here, please.
So talking about the chatbots and Gen Z, basically.
Yeah.
So there's a bank called Live by ENBD. Yeah? It was specially designed and developed for the students, basically. And talking about the customer experience and custom experience that no one wants to get a call middle of the day, as Mr. Aman said. So this bank is, they're having chatbot and all, but due to some reasons, and I don't know why and what happened, it's not working fine. Even I had this account on this thing, and when you want to get support, there's none, nada. There's nothing. So even if you have integrated AI, chatbot is also there, technology is also there. There's another bank called Mashreq. which is taking over, digital bank. Live was the only digital bank in UAE. Now, Mashreq Bank is there, the second digital bank. So how can you solve this? And I mean, human interaction is needed over there. So what's your call on this? How it can be solved and all? AI is also there, chatbot is
Who would
also
like to
there.
take the answer?
Yeah. So I'll give a small perspective on what we do for our customers. We always provide a fallback option. When chatbot answers the customer query, chatbot should ask for feedback. And if the feedback is bad, it should give an option. Would you like to chat with an expert? Would you like to have a call with our experts? Or would you like to meet an expert? If the customer selects the option of chat, within the same interface, a live agent can be there. If they like a call, they can provide their mobile number and they can get a call back. And if they like a meet, they can enter their zip code and you can schedule a meeting with a branch manager or someone in the branch depending on the category of the customer. How, let's say, valuable are they for the bank? So I think, look, we all, I hope we all agree that AI is not a replacement of humans. It enables humans. So previously, if 100 queries were coming to chat agents, now let's say 50 queries should come or 60 queries should come. The balance 40, 50, 70, whatever should be automated. So if we are completely eliminating the fallback option, I think that's a wrong way to implement the solution.
Yeah, that's what happened with the Live Bank actually.
Yes,
They
yes.
didn't create the fallback and they didn't close the loop.
Correct.
And they completely removed the human interface from that, and that is the reason I think.
I think this is a mistake. Removing the human intervention completely is a mistake.
Yes.
This is, as mentioned by Yaman, this is the fallback solution. Whenever the customer is not going to be able to make a successful conversation with a chatbot or conversational AI, the system automatically converts the customer to the agent, where someone really try to understand the customer, because sometimes the customer might not be able even to handle the technology or deal with the technology. So it is a good fallback. So maybe it's a bad implementation. That's it.
Yeah, that's so the chatbot can develop your business, and
I think with maturity, we will reach that level where we can really have a very smart.
So one thing that only chatbot is the one thing that standard, like that was the standalone for this, and that is the only thing that made this fallback for this business.
So we can take one last question, please. Yeah, sorry.
Actually, I have two questions. The first one about AI insecurity in banking transactions. Just I want to ask for how much use it AI in security in banking transactions. And the second one, actually, the disadvantage of using chatbot in banking transactions too. Like if there are any disadvantages, I want to know what there are. Just two questions.
I think Walid, you can take the first
So
question.
I'll take the first question, but correct me if I didn't understand it correctly here. So AI and security within the banking industry?
Yes.
Is it secured? Is AI secured? Am I right?
Yeah, no, I ask if AI how work with security in banking transactions, like is like helping to make it more security, something like that in bank transactions.
So I can't speak of Saudi in general. We have very strict regulations when it comes to AI usage. So when we host, the data, for instance, has to be hosted locally, and any AI solution related, to when it comes to the banking industry or technology, it has to be on-prem. So now coming back, is AI actually secure or safe to use within the financial industry? Of course, it's not safe. We know there are breaches. We know there are actually, cyber attacks, etc. So someone can actually, hack your basically system and get all this information. But we don't actually, give full access to the sensitive data of the client. Transactionals, for instance, this is not something that we give, the AI chatbot capability or ability to access.
AI help to make it more secure.
Yes, it helps making it more secure, especially if you are talking to an agent and you try to exchange some secured information with the agent. You might be a little bit doubt about this. But when you are really doing conversation with artificial intelligence or a system, most of the time you are trusting the system more than the humans. So yeah, this is a very good advantage of using conversational AI, because it removes the suspicious of the customer about the agent might get some information about the customer and make use of it as a fraud, maybe.
Yeah, it could be.
Thank you. And the second question about disadvantages of chatbot.
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
Actually, my second question about what are the disadvantages of using chatbot in bank transactions?
What are the conditions?
Disadvantage,
Disadvantages.
You faced it before.
As I mentioned, the queries which are high in complexity, no chatbot can assist with that as of today. In future, we might have that technology, but today that's not there. So, I mean, we process like 500 million queries in a year. A bunch of queries are very complex. Customer complains that they had a fight with the branch manager. The person could not help. Right? So these are high complexity queries. These are paragraph-like queries. So chatbots and AI hasn't reached to that level to be able to assist. So that's one big downside.
Okay. So in summary, we are not yet there. We are progressing. We are developing our capabilities in conversational AI in banking industry, as we mentioned, with the financial aspect and the security aspects of these critical services. It adds more challenges to the banking industry, along with the new generations and different engagement and social media and the channels. So all these aspects are really, as you can see now, giving us more and more difficulties to reach the expected level. But I think by time we will be able to be there, and we should have customers enjoying conversational AI, inshallah, in the future.
Inshallah. Thank you.
Thank you all panelists for this very insightful discussion. And I hope that all of you have enjoyed this discussion. And if you have any questions, I think our contact details are there. We are reachable through different social media, LinkedIn or Instagrams, other, let's say, social medias. So feel free to raise questions at any time, and we are there to answer at any time of the year. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
A lot of light on the challenges in conversational AI in banking. So we talked about the maturity, we talked about the different generations and the customer profiling. But if we use the history in order to try to predict the future, it wasn't a long time ago when ATM cards and ATM machine and credit cards were a thing. People would say, what? My money is in a box in the street and anybody can take my money? And look where we are today. And then came the hit of online banking as well. It was another wave that really shaped people's awareness and how they interact with the banking services. So I feel like it is going to come. One way or another, yeah, it is going to come. Thank you so much. If you please come and accept your mementos in order of seating. Please, you're the first one. Yes, you're the nearest to me. Thank you so much for your feedback.
Check.
This one. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
A huge round of applause for Mr. Khalid Naban.
Yeah, it's the other one. Yeah. Okay, and then Walid, number 2.
A round of applause for getting in insights from Saudi Arabia, Mr. Walid.
Very nice input. Thank you. And thank you so much for the
And a
great
huge round of
moderation.
applause
Amazing.
for moderating the session well.